Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, we talk with Greg Haynes, the CEO of the Cattlemen's Beef Board. We'll also have features from Kansas Corn, Kansas Wheat, and the Kansas Farm Bureau, and our weekly updates from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, Progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919. KFB.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat. Online at kswheat.com. In Ag News from agview.net, Kansas, number of farms and ranches declined during 2020. That according to the National Ag Statistics Service. The number of farms and ranches in the state, 58,300, down 200 farms from 2019. The land in farms and ranches in Kansas, 45.7 million acres. That's unchanged from 2019. Now the average size of the operation, 784 acres, up 3 acres from a year ago. A new study reveals the economic impact of the corn refining industry. It features a $47 billion economic output in 2020. The Corn Refiners Association released a study detailing the industry's contributions to the U.S. economy in terms of sales, jobs, salaries, purchases, and taxes. The study finds the economic power of the corn wet milling industry resulting in $3.3 billion in state and federal taxes, 167,700 total jobs, $10 billion in total wages, and $47 billion in total economic output. And if you missed it, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has extended the hours of service waiver for livestock haulers. The exemption was due to expire at the end of the month, but has been extended through May 31st. Livestock feed haulers also included in the extension, but only those transporting finished feed. If you're hauling feed ingredients, ineligible for that waiver. Find more ag news at agview.net. Stay with us. More in a moment. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. And agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Are you looking for Medicare supplement insurance plans? Now is a good time to look at your options with Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans. A Medicare supplement insurance plan can help cover certain out-of-pocket expenses Medicare doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, co-insurance, and certain limitations that can be costly in the event of an accident or illness. With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you have options to Medicare supplement insurance plans with 4 levels of affordable coverage and service from an organization known for its commitment serving Kansans. We encourage you to compare our rates. For more information and to get a quote, contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you or visit kfbhealthplans.com. Medicare supplements insured by Members Health Insurance Company, Columbia, Tennessee. Not connected with or endorsed by the U.S. or state government.
And joining us is Greg Haynes, who is the CEO of the Cattlemen's Beef Board. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ken. No, appreciate the time here.
Well, let's talk about this beef checkoff. And even though COVID has brought so many challenges, these checkoffs still have to help move products. So I guess first tell us how the beef checkoff has been able to navigate through this pandemic.
Okay. Yeah, no, definitely. I think everybody's found 2020 to be quite the year. I mean, not just the beef industry, but every industry. But I think we've actually been able to navigate this very successfully and have actually seen some benefits from this. We've seen that whole shift away from food service to more retail because people can't go out and eat as much. People aren't going out to meetings or conventions. All this is online. And so we've really had to do the same, put the efforts and the resources where the people are. And so all the programs we've been doing have done the same. They've really shifted to that kind of online, social media formats. And so we've been able to reach consumers that way. There was some disruptions in the supply chain earlier in the year, and, beef was there or limited, or there might have been different cuts that were out there. So we were able to provide, recipes on how you can utilize all these different cuts. I think that's kind of continuing. People are seeing more cuts out there now. And so this work we've been doing over many years in developing recipes that are either, easy and fast, or the more elaborate traditional recipes have really played in. So the consumers who are home and have more time, they've been able to, cook more elaborate, nice beef dishes. The ones who are busy and online are able to still find information to cook different cuts or to cook them quickly. So it's really helped build demand. If you look at retail, the demand for beef has stayed strong. In fact, we've actually gained market share over this whole pandemic. So that is super positive. And we're seeing that more consumers are eating beef each week now. So that number is continuing to increase. So the impact actually has been pretty positive with all these shifts.
One thing, that our family has done, we've discovered different cuts and then different ways to prepare, some that not too many years ago we didn't think would probably be possible. Some of these new and very delicious cuts, by the way.
Exactly. And I think that's probably helped with, people not being able to go out to restaurants, or maybe you just order something and they're cooking some of these cuts and you get it. But now those cuts are available at retail. And like you say, people are discovering them, they're kind of seeking them out, and they're available, and they're seeing, wow, these cuts are delicious and they're not that hard to cook. And so that's really helped boost the demand for the product. So no, we're excited about that it's really, expanded across the board, that interest in beef being out there.
Greg Haynes is the CEO of the Cattlemen's Beef Board. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, and there's a whole lot more to talk about. We'll do that in just a moment. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
And Greg Haynes, who is the CEO of the Cattlemen's Beef Board, is joining us. And Greg, before we talk about maybe what's going on internationally, let's talk about maybe the checkoff, not only maybe the structure, but some of that misinformation, some of those things that folks may be being a little speculative of what the checkoff is or isn't.
Right. Yeah, no, and I've been in my role here now for, over a year. And that's really one of the first things that stood out to me was that, the checkoff has been around for 35 years. It's doing a great job. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But a lot of the producers that have grown up in this time weren't around when the checkoff was first started and really understand what its focus is and what it should be doing. And that's led to, I think, people putting out information that is completely incorrect about what the checkoff does. So the checkoff is designed to build demand for beef. And so I think that's something that supports all producers wherever you are. The more consumers want beef, the more value is going to be generated. And so that's its main focus through promotion and research and all this. The checkoff doesn't do anything on the policy side, and that's good because policy always has different positions. And so if there's somebody who's like, you need to be focused on this policy thing, there's obviously others who don't agree with that. And so if we were doing that, we're going to be alienating half of the producers out there. So we don't even deal with policy at all. By law, we can't do that. And we have checks to ensure that any of our contractors are not doing anything with policy. So any checkoff programs that are going on out there are all on a cost recovery basis. So these contractors have to pay for those programs that they've already had approval to do, that the producers have picked, and then they submit invoices and we review it to make sure they're doing what they were supposed to do, and then they get reimbursed. So we're not giving money to anybody to do things until it's done and we verified that it's what they were supposed to do. And the contractors also have to have approval from producers. So the funding decisions for the contractors aren't made by, me or a corporation or anything. It's all producer led. So we have committees made of producers who are reviewing and giving feedback to the contractors on the programs they're doing. The contractors take that back and then they have a final meeting with what we call a beef operating committee. And so that committee then looks at, okay, we've got a finite set of resources. Where are we going to get the biggest impact for our dollars? And then they allocate those to the contractors for programs they've proposed. So what they're approved for is very set, and then they have to do that, and then we reimburse them. So there's a lot of checks and balances here. And again, a key thing that I think people don't realize is that this is a producer-led program. They're making these decisions. So that's very, very important to know that this is not just somebody else making it up or an organization deciding, but it's producer led.
And one of those things is expanding the reach in the market for beef, and that is continue to develop overseas markets. And we continue to see reports that we are finding new markets for different cuts of meat, different ways, and the way that bring value to that whole animal.
Exactly. So the checkoff, we said, is designed to build demand, and you've got 96% of the world's population outside of the United States. And these economies are growing and their middle classes are growing and they're demanding higher quality proteins. And so they're moving up, and we've got beef here. We're one of the most efficient producers of beef in the world. The quality is, amazing. And so there's a lot of demand out there. And as these economies are growing, one thing we don't think about is when we're exporting beef, it's usually not all the beef that we're eating. In the US, we like hamburgers and steaks. But when we're exporting the products, we're not exporting that. We're exporting, livers and tongues and tripe and short plate and short ribs, items that we don't eat as much here. And so that brings a lot of value back. If we were not to have those export markets, that means, you and I, instead of grilling up a steak this weekend, are going to have to grill up some liver and tongue, which I don't think we really want to be doing. So this adds a lot of value to the carcass. And I think, too, as these economies develop, they're going to move towards more of these, higher end cuts, steaks and things like that, which is good because that gives us another outlet and more demand for it. So we're able to increase our operations, grow more beef, develop that. but also have more demand and more value for that coming back to us. So for me, I mean, I think the international markets are exciting. We've had some challenges with COVID, but we're seeing that international demand is staying extremely strong, just as it is here. And so I think that bodes very well for the beef industry over the next years.
Well, Greg, we always appreciate our conversations, and thanks for the update.
No, appreciate it. Thank you, Ken. If there's anything we can ever do, please let us know. And thanks to all the producers out there. Great
Greg
job.
Haynes, thank you. Greg Haynes, CEO of the Cattlemen's Beef Board, has joined us. Stay with us. We'll have more in just a moment.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Hi, this is Josh Rowe, and I serve as the Vice President of Market Development and Policy with Kansas Corn. And since 2016, the Kansas Corn Commission has enjoyed a great set of partnerships with fuel retail stations across the state to provide cost share to install infrastructure that offers higher level blends of ethanol. And it has just been phenomenal to see the great results we've had out of these fueling stations, with sometimes our stations experiencing 60% year-over-year growth sustained for 4 years or more. In fact, I think the data will show in 2020, despite declines in overall unleaded gasoline sales, our fuel retailers on average still experience gains in 2020 despite the shutdown. And it's been a great program to be a part of. We were able to assist 9 different locations in the year 2020 through a USDA grant that we put additional time and resources towards at the state level. And probably most exciting, coming out, our Kansas Corn Commission recently approved another set of grants to assist fuel retailers if they're interested in only putting in an E15, or the fuel containing 15% ethanol, 85% gasoline. It's a kind of what we call a drop-in fuel, so a retailer can just include that in their regular mix under most circumstances without any large infrastructure upgrades. So we're excited to roll out that program and get it introduced in some of our larger areas, especially Kansas City, with coming year-round sales of E15 being allowed in that area, as well as small and medium-sized retailers across the state. You know, so that being said, if your favorite fueling station you fill up at all the time, if they don't currently offer E15 or above blends, feel free to point them out in our direction. You can always get a hold of us through kscorn.com, or you can have them get a hold of us, or feel free to tell us about that station, and we're happy to do the outreach ourselves, because this is really, we're seeing some great impacts as they're selling more ethanol. It is really increasing the demand for Kansas corn products. Thank you.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
From homesteading the Kansas prairie to developing new ways to market products to today's consumers, women have played a critical role in the success of Kansas agriculture. The annual Women Managing the Farm Conference provides a supportive setting for women to develop the skills, resources, and knowledge needed for success in a competitive agricultural environment. From day-to-day decisions to record-keeping and financial management, women are heavily engaged in American agriculture. The ultimate goal of the Women Managing the Farm Conference is to provide women with the tools they need to manage their farm investment and thrive in rural communities. Kansas is home to 32,000 women agricultural producers. Nationwide, 36% of U.S. farmers are women, and more than half of all farms have at least one female decision maker. The Women Managing the Farm Conference gathers these women farmers with rural business leaders and landowners for learning sessions and networking, this year in a virtual setting. Kansas Wheat was a gold sponsor for the event. Over the three-day event from February 10th to the 12th, sessions discussed personal motivation, tractor and equipment maintenance, urban agriculture and inner-city food deserts, handling stress, entrepreneurship, grain and livestock marketing, family communication, financial management, healthcare, family dynamics, farm succession planning, livestock fencing, direct marketing, and more. New this year, the conference added a digital resource library of videos and materials to help put the ideas into these sessions into action in their operations and daily lives. Combined, these resources will provide support throughout the year for the women who work to continually advance American agriculture.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
David and Addie Foster operate a fourth-generation dairy farm that includes a robotic milking parlor. David also manages Cash Cow Enterprise, where he reclaims chicken and hog barns and resells them to farmers across the Midwest. His newest venture, TerraCat, manufactures manure spreaders and soon vertical feed mixers. Both David and Addie have been involved in the Bourbon County Farm Bureau and the Young Farmers and Ranchers Committee. Addie has served on KFB's Membership and Promotion Committee, and David has chaired the State Dairy Advisory Committee. The couple believes Farm Bureau will continue to add layers of benefit and value to members as the industry becomes more complex.
Does your health plan lack dental and vision coverage? With Kansas Farm Bureau Health Plans, you can get a dental and vision bundle for yourself or your family at an affordable price, giving you the ability to maximize your benefits and lower your costs. Plus, you'll get a solid network of providers in one convenient package. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
This year's Kansas State University Cattlemen's Day will be held virtually. The event is scheduled for March 5th and will begin at 9:30 a.m. The featured topic will center around the pandemic's impact on the beef supply chain. Jason Lusk, head of the Department of Agricultural Economics at Purdue University, will highlight the effect COVID-19 has had on the U.S. beef industry. Jason Rumley and Robert Norris, both with Radian Group, will focus on the processing, retail, and food service segments. K-State Extension Meat Science Specialist Liz Boyle will wrap up this topic by giving a presentation on the pandemic's impact on small Kansas processors. Sandy Johnson, K-State Livestock Production Specialist, also will be on hand to discuss reproductive technology resources and tools available to producers. Registration for Cattlemen's Day is free and can be completed at asi.ksu.edu. The 2021 Stockman's Dinner has been postponed. Be sure to watch the K-State Animal Sciences and Industry Facebook page or their website for date, location, and registration information. KLA member Pat Coons of Burdick will be honored as this year's Stockman of the Year.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Good morning. This is Derek Hermish with Pinion, a division of K-Coe Isom. This year, one of the wilder years that we've had in several. Markets just keep going up, and we have a new problem that we are battling in the emotional state of marketing, and it's FOMO, fear of missing out, or not enough. Any year that you market, it's never enough, it seems, if you want to look at it through that lens, whether it be in the last 4 and 5 years that we've typically had before this year. As the market comes down at harvest, I didn't sell enough. If I'd have just sold a little bit more, I would feel better about what I did. Or in this case, I didn't leave enough to sell. I sold too much. I wish I had. It's not enough. You can fall prey to that not enough syndrome, and it can work on you and make marketing tougher as you go forward. The emotional part of marketing is always going to be there. You can limit it as best you can, but it's hard to avoid, especially when markets get as volatile as they are right now. And it is a world now where we have higher prices that, depending on the individual that you are, if you can sell and maybe make smaller sales and not look back and not regret it and move on to the next sale, that's not a bad strategy to go. But as the market keeps going higher and higher, and if you are scaling in, you can eventually run out of what you are comfortable selling and still want to take advantage of higher prices as they go up. In this particular atmosphere, options can be a better strategy maybe than what they've been the last 4 or 5 years. Now, they do cost more this year, but you get what you pay for. And it is something worth looking at if you have not, or even if you have in the past and kind of left them behind because you weren't satisfied. And just a reminder, this year, take a look at them. If you haven't, see what they are, see if they could fit in your marketing plan. And if you want to talk about them, give us a call. 888-452-8751. Thanks.
Well, that's our show this week. Be social with us at KansasAgReport.net or on our social media platforms. Continue to be Kansas strong. It's almost baseball season. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.